Hey guys, good evening and welcome to part 2 of our Building in UI Builder series. In our first video, which will be linked down in the bio, we talk about what ServiceNow UI Builder is and some of the basic terminologies in ServiceNow UI Builder. In this video, we are going to be building our own custom workspace. So let's get into the ServiceNow platform and let's build together. Okay, so here we are in our beautiful UI Builder interface. So let's create our own experience. In order to do that, you can select the Create button, and we're going to give a name to our experience. Now we are in our own custom workspace. So we are going to get to building. We're going to create a page. We're going to start with our landing page. We can click on the plus sign to create a new page, or click on this button in the middle of the screen. We're going to be creating from scratch. We're not using a template yet. So I'm going to give my page a name. Now, really quick, when it comes to naming pages in UI Builder, it's always kind of good to understand like naming conventions matter sometimes. Like, for example, I named this the home page because UI Builder recognizes home pages as the landing page. If I renamed this anything else, I would have to reconfigure the page to be the landing page. So leaving the page as home makes UI Builder understand like, hey, this is the landing page. Now, required parameters, they are of the URL of a page. The page would not load properly without required parameters. Let's say, for example, we're working on a record page. Some of the required parameters, which we'll see in a second, is the table and the sysid. If the table and the sysid are not present in the URL for the page, we would get a 404 error. So they are very, very important. If they're required, if in order for the page to load, brain went blank for a second, but they're required, and they also need to have an order. Like a sysid cannot come before the table. You know what I'm saying? And then optional parameters, they are, of course, optional. They are not needed for the page to load. Let's say maybe you want to set the list view of a list page or something, then you can create an optional parameter for that because it's not really necessary for the page to load. Okay, so we're going to select looks good, continue. Now, before we actually get to building, let's talk about a few things that we see on our screen. First, in the middle, we have the stage panel, which gives visibility into the containers and components within the page that we are working on. And then on the left, we have the content tree, which allows us to add containers and components. On the bottom of the screen, we have data and scripts. We have data resources, client state parameters, and client scripts. With data resources, we talked about it a little bit in our first video, which is they are resources that allow you to basically fetch data from the server in order for it to be reused and displayed within a component. UI Builder does come with some out-of-box data resources, as we can see. Look up a single record, look up multiple records. The definitions are literally in the name. UI Builder also gives us the ability to create new data resources. But with data resources, we're able to bind the data that we fetch to the component in order for to modify the component behavior and visibility. We also have client state parameters. Think of client state parameters as page variables that basically live on the page that you're working on or the browser that you're working on. And it allows for components to share data within one another. Let's say, for example, you want a drop-down to be able to filter an incident list based on the state. So you can set the incident states as variables using client state parameters. Then you bind that client state parameter to a drop-down component. Then you create an event, of course. Whenever this state is selected in the drop-down, filter the incident list to be whatever the state you selected is. And then we have client scripts. Client scripts are scripts that run in the browser, but they are event-driven, okay? In order for your client script to work, they need to be triggered by an event. This is very important. they are event driven. That is the only way it would work. So let's say, for example, you want a page to load, and whenever that page loads, you want some fields to be read-only on this record page that you're working on. You would, of course, create the client script for that, and then you would create an event. The event could be when page loads, your event handler would be your client script, okay? So when the page loads, this is the action you want to take, which is make fields read-only through your client script. And now lastly, we have this thing called the component configuration panel, which consists of 3 tabs: configure, styles, and events, which are pretty vital when working on components as well. Think of the configure tab for your component as the settings for that component. How do you want the component to behave? What do you want the component to be able to, do, and things of that nature. Think of it as a way of modifying the behavior and the visibility of that component. With configure tab, you have a list of properties which you can bind data to using data resources, client state parameters. You bind data to these properties to modify the behavior and visibility of the component. We have the styling. Think of styling as, how do I want to make my component look? Like, how pretty do I want it to be? You have the option of padding, margin, adding colors, background colors, adding, you even have the option to edit CSS, which you'll see in a second. There's the edit CSS link, which gives us a more advanced configuration of, styling the component. And then lastly, we have events. Events is basically, what action do I want this component to perform when a user is interacting with it? What do I want this component to do? When a user interacts with it. That is what an event is. So now that we have a pretty good understanding, and I hope we have a pretty good understanding of some of, what we see on our screen, let's actually get to building. So I'm going to add content. I'm going to add a container, and the container that I will be adding is a Flexbox container. So I'm going to click on add. Now, under my Flexbox container, I am going to add an image component, which is right there. Click on add. It's always remember to save your page so you don't lose anything. And also, secondly, it's always good for you to rename your components. Why? Because if anybody else comes into your page, naming conventions for your components give, the user a good idea of what exactly that component is doing or what it means and things like that. So I'm going to rename this to So we're going to change our image picture. As much as I love staring at this beautiful woman, let's choose a custom image. So I already have an image saved up. I think it's on this tab. Wait, no, it is not. Let's look for it. So I already had an image saved up. What I'm just going to do is I'm copying the source code of that image into my image source property. You can just take a screenshot of an image on Google, add it to the image table in ServiceNow, copy the source code and paste it here. That is exactly what I just did. So I'm just going to save this, and here we have a new image. Now I'm going to add another component, which is going to be a stylized text. So I want it to be all under one parent container. So in order for me to do that, I'm going to click on these 3 dots right here by my first component, select add after, and search for my new component because I want it under one parent. And there we have it. We have a stylized text component. Let's go ahead and rename this one as well. Okay guys, so for some reason, some part of the video where we go into editing the CSS for our container and our component got cut out of the video. Let's go ahead and cue the sad meme. So I'm adding this in to quickly explain the styling we did in order to overlay our stylized text component on top of our image component. So firstly, if we navigate to this container, and go to the Styles tab, we added on the edit CSS link, we added a position relative. This is basically just like telling the container it's not moving anywhere. It's staying positioned right exactly where it needs to be. In the background image, we changed the fit property to cover, stating that it's covering the entire container, and we changed the height to 200. This is a preference thing, by the way. I wanted my image to be a lot shorter because, as I mentioned in the video, we're going to be adding a lot more in this page. So I wanted my image, my background image, to be shorter. So I added this, I changed it to 200, but this may change in future videos. But for right now, it is 200. And then in our welcome text, our stylized text component, we did a bunch of things here. So for our text, in order to make this dynamic so it shows the logged in user, on the text property, we have this bind data icon, which gives us data types to bind to the text property and also formulas. UI Builder is really, really great at explaining what some of these things do. Under the formulas tab, we use the concat formula, and what we needed to do was basically concatenate our welcome message and grab data of the logged in user, and thankfully the example given to us is exactly what we needed. So you can just copy and paste this, double tap on the menu here and paste it here. I just added this little wording, and that was literally all I did. And you click apply and you get this new text. We also edited the CSS. This edit CSS button allows us to add style to the actual text itself. So I just changed the color, I made it a little bigger, added some shadowing to it. And then lastly, on the styles tab of our stylized text component, we have this view and edit CSS link, which I added some styling as well. We set the position to absolute. We also set the position of the component of how we wanted to, sit on top of the image, and voila. And this is how we got to this right here. So we are now able to jump back into the rest of the video. Let's preview this to see what it looks like. Wow, isn't this nice? Click on open URL path. This is awesome. This is beautiful. So we are done with our landing page. How do we feel so far? Did you like this? Perfect. So we're going to create 2 more pages and we should be good for our building in our custom workspace for now. So click on the plus sign again to add a new page. We're going to be adding a standard record. So instead of creating from scratch, UI Builder offers out-of-box templates, which comes with the components already pre-configured. So we don't really have to do anything, We don't have to create events. We don't have to, do certain things. It already comes out of box within that template. So we're just going to select use template. I am going to name this as record. So UI Builder recognizes that this is a record page. This is the required parameters, table, and sysid. Select looks good. Rolling. Sometimes when we get a blank page like this, what we can do is we can clear the UI Builder cache and just reload, and we should be able to see it. Okay, here we are. Look at our standard record page template. So we can preview it, just why not? You can use these over here to change the required parameter to any table you want it to be. And let's just open the URL path. So here we see, so this is what I was talking about, guys. For the required parameters, we see the table and the sysid, right? If I was to take this off, what do you think we're going to get? A 404 error. The page is not found. So this is why required parameters are very, very important. So that's it. That's all we have to do. We just had to create our standard, record template. We just have to add it. And lastly, we're going to add one more page, which is going to be our list page. Scroll down. Okay, so we have the list page template and the simple list page template. This only offers us the ability to see one table list. But with this, we have this menu that allows us to see multiple table lists. So we're going to use this one. I'm going to name this as list. And that's all we have to do, guys. Isn't it so easy and seamless? Isn't UI Builder so easy? So if I was to open this up, let's open the URL path and let's click on one of the rows and see what happens. You see, it's navigated us to our record page. And the reason why it did that is because we have the record page configured and the list page configured as well. So we're practically done here, guys. We have done more than enough in creating our custom workspace so far. Lastly, I think all we just need to do is to add some side navigation so it's easier for us to navigate from the list page to the home page. So let's do that really quick. I'm going to go to custom workspace, click on view experience settings. I'll scroll all the way down and we have the side navigation header. So what I'm going to do is at home, and we're done. We've added side navigations. So let's see how it looks like now. I'm going to click on our custom workspace and look at that. We have side navigations. Oh my gosh. If I click on this takes us to our list. If I click on this, we go back to our home page. Oh my gosh, I'm so happy and I'm so proud of you if you got all the way this far to the end of the video. I want to thank you guys so much for all your support and your outpour of love in these series so far. In the next video, we're going to be diving even way more in building in our workspace, adding a few more components to our landing page, really focusing on making this landing page as pretty as possible. So I cannot wait to see you there. Thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Leave some comments down below if you have any questions. I'll be more than happy to answer them. And I'll see you in the next video. Have a good rest of your day. Bye.